Welcome back to Ayaz Tech. In this video series, we are going to build a full stack complete blog with CMS by using Angular and Node.js. And this is the complete details of stack and plan that we are going to follow. So we are going to use Angular Material, SAS, Tailwind CSS, Node.js, Express.js, MySQL, and we will build two projects minimum, backend and frontend. In the backend, we will have all features including authentication, login, and session management would be also implemented. And in the frontend project, we will implement two sub views. First view will be public view, and second will be the CMS that we also call admin panel. So let us begin. We will use Lucid application to plan our tables that we will create in our project. We will start from basic to advanced level. So in the beginning, I will keep things very simple and straightforward. Then we will start to add more complexity step by step. Like in the beginning, we will have just post and categories and things like that. But in the next videos, we will start to add users and authentication, things like that. So here I will add a table that would be categories, and the key is primary for the ID and type is integer. And then we will have title for the category. That's it. After that, we will have another table that will be tags, and that will also be same like categories. And after that, another table that will be posts, and every post will have title and then body or content, and then we will have a foreign key with category ID, and this category ID will be linked with the categories table. Okay. And then, so every post will have only one category. So that's why we added a category ID field in the post table. But every post may have more than one tag. So to make that possible, I will have to create a separate relational table to keep the relations between post and tags. This will allow us to have more than one tags in one post. So I will copy paste this. By the way, if as this is a foreign key, so I will link it with this. And now this table name will be post tags, and we will have foreign key with the name tag ID, and then we will have foreign key with the name post ID. I will just remove this row. Okay. Now we will add arrows to add the relationship between post tags and tag table. So for the post ID and post table. All right. So this is the very basic structure that we are going to start with. So I will start from the backend project. So right now we have nothing in our backend project. We will start from scratch. We will also be using TypeScript in our project. So we will start from npm init to start a Node.js project. And press enter to use the default settings. This will generate a package.json file for you. You can remove this script if you want to. And after that, I will install some required libraries. So first library is install Express and then save it. And then we need to install Nodemon. So Nodemon is the library that will run your application in the watch mode. So whenever you will make change in your Node.js application, it will automatically reload your application. So you will not have to stop and restart your application after every change. So it will do it by itself. Install on save dev. As this is a development dependency, so I will use save dev to keep it separate. So you can see that Express.js is added, Nodemon is also added. So now I will initialize TypeScript. For that, use npx init, press Y. So first of all, you will have to install the TypeScript. So install with this command. Now run that command again. Okay, the TypeScript file has been initialized. You can see a new file is just generated. Now I will create a new folder that would be source directory. And in that folder, I will add my first file that would be server.ts. And just to test, I will console something here to see if everything is working fine. So in the package.json, I will add my first script that would be dev, and we will add nodemon source slash server.ts. So let's try to run this script npm run dev. I'm getting this error that ts node not found, so we have to install this dependency as well. So type npm install this, and this is also a dev dependency, so make sure to add -t so that it could be added in this area. Okay, great. Now we will try to run our TypeScript file again, and this time you can see that a console log is visible in our terminal. So that's mean TypeScript is now ready to be used. So after that I will create my first basic server in Express.js. So let's do that. Import Express from Express. I can see an error here, and the error is suggesting me that I should install the types for the Express library. So copy this command from here, or you can type it manually as well. So let me do that. npm install. Sorry. Okay. After it is installed as a dev dependency, you will notice that the error will be gone. Now I will start. I will create my app. Let app is Express app dot listen, and here I will provide the port. You can use any port that you want to specify. And here I will console.log http post. Now, if you run that script again, then you will see this message in the console that your server is running on this port. So let's try that. Okay, you can see that it is working. Now I will define my very first basic endpoint, that to be app.get/test, and here I will add the request handler function. Here I will add request response.send test. Okay. Now, if I open this endpoint in browser and if I specify the endpoint, you should see this message in the browser that we just sent back to the client by using response.send. Okay. Now we need to define endpoints to create categories. So let's do that. First of all, I will add /API/categories, and I want to create a category. So for that, I will use post method, and so this is how we will be creating our endpoints for categories. But before doing anything else, we have to install another dependency, that is MySQL 2 package from npm. So let's do that. Npm install MySQL 2, save. It will save this package in the main dependency list. Now in the source directory, I will create another file that would be db.ts, and here I will import the database MySQL from, and we would like to use promise version of MySQL, so I will use /promise. So we'll dot create connection, and here I will provide the host address. Then we need to provide the username. Then we need to provide password. Then we need to provide database. And I will save the connection in a variable db, and we will export this connection by using export keyword. After that, we need to create a database. So make sure to have MySQL server ready that you can use. You can use any online MySQL server, or you can install MySQL in your local computer as well. I'm using Mac, and in my Mac I have a software that is DB Engine. So I will be using this software. I already have created this database, so I can open this by clicking open in Table Plus. You can use any other client if you want to. So here I will create my new database from here. I will name it blog, and let me see, in encoding I will use UTF-8. Press OK. I will open this database. Now let us write this information here. Host is localhost, and user will be root I guess password will be empty for me. And database is blog. And now, before doing anything else, I will try to test this connection. So I will create a new table in my workbench, in my cl database client. So just create a table like this. You can use your own client as I said earlier. So table name is post, and ID will be auto incremented, and it will be primary automatically. And then we need to have the title field, and the data type would be varchar with the length 25 to 55, and it should not be null. And then I will add the field for content, and data type will be text, because text has more character limit than varchar, so that's why I use this. And I will save it. This will create the table. Now I will create another table that will be categories, and there will be title, varchar will be the type, and it should not be null, and save it. I will rename uh, this table with we should use S as I did for the categories. So let me see if I can change that. Save it. Okay, great. Now in the post table, I will add another field that will be category ID, and the type will be integer, and it should never be null. And I will add a foreign key on this field that will be connected with the categories table. For that, click on the create a foreign key, and then here I will select I will add the field name that I want to use, category, and table name will be reference table name will be categories, and we want to link this field with the ID field of categories table. And on update, we we want to use cascade behavior or set null. I will use set null for now. So if somebody tries to delete a category, it will automatically remove the category ID from all of the posts. So press OK. Now I will save it. There is an error. See. Okay. The foreign key has been created, as you can see. So I will insert something in the categories table just to see. So I just added my first category. Now, just to test if our database client working or not, I will add another endpoint dot get slash test request dot response, and then I will import the DB that we just exported in the database file. Now I will. So when you create a connection, it basically gives you a promise. So so here I will add async wait, and here I will select all categories, and it will give me the response. Let response is equal to wait this, and I will send this response to the client. Dot send response. Okay, let's see. Here I will reload it, and server, I guess, crashed. Select all from category. This was a mistake. Okay. Now you can see that it gave me the data. Actual data is available on the zero index, so I can use zero index there. So if you reload it, you can see it is giving me array of all of the categories. So that's mean we are good to go. We can start building our rest of the project. I will just remove it. So here I will create a middleware in the application on the global level. So whenever somebody tries to hit our any of endpoints, I will run this middleware request response. So it will go through this function every time, and I will create database connection, and I will attach that connection with the request so that all of our child routes could access that connection easily. So I'll wait, sorry, async, and here I will add let connection is equal to, instead of that, I will use request dot connection is equal to uh, await DB. Okay. So here it is giving me an error that property DB does not exist on type request. So we will create our custom type for the request that will be interface custom request extends request from Express, and I will add the additional property that I want to have. And we know that the type of the, let me actually check the type that we get after awaiting it. So here you can see the type is connection. So I can add type connection that will come from MySQL 2. And now I will add type, that new type to this request. And Okay, so now I will add this connection here, and then I will have to call the next function. I will create another function and I will name it db middleware. So I will just pass this function here. And here I will use slash promise. Okay. So this is not an actual error. So this is just a TypeScript error that should not be here. So I will just bypass it by typing as any. That will bypass this issue. And now you can see that we have used this middleware. So whenever you define any endpoint, you can consider that you already have this DB connection available. Okay, I can change it to one line. So with the next function, it will allow you to move to the next middleware if available, or it will let you go to the final function of your endpoint that will be executed after that. Okay, now I will define the endpoint to create a category. So this is that endpoint with the post method. Here I will define the type custom request response. Okay. For now, I will just not use this type. I will use any, but later I will start using this interface. So for now, I just want to complete the endpoint. So we know that we have DB in the request, so we can use that. Let DB is equal to request, and I will add a type as well, connection, and is equal to request.db. Now I will use db.query, and we will insert into categories, and there we will provide the values. Here I will have to specify the field name, that is title, and then I need to provide the values. Here we will provide the value that we want to add, and we have to get the title from the body, that is request.body.title, and I will save it in a variable, let title is equal to this, and then I will use this variable here. But make sure that before using request.body, make sure you install you set up another thing that is app.use express.json, and there is another one that is URL encoded extended through. So make sure to add these two lines first before receiving any data from the request.body. Once that is done, you are ready to proceed. Now I will use await here to get the response. In order to use await, you have to add async here. And now I will send that response to the client that is consuming it. Okay, now I will open the Postman so that we could test this endpoint. So here I will add 3200 slash API slash categories, and in the body select JSON, and here I will add title and the title of the category, testing category, and hit the send button. You can see we got a response that is telling me that affected rows is 1 and insert ID is 2. So you can see that we can get the ID of inserted category from the insert ID, and we can also see that response is inside an array. So I can get the ID, let category ID from that response from zero index dot insert ID. Here I will use type any to avoid TypeScript error. Now I will use this category ID to get the category from database. Let category response await db.query, and I will select all from categories where ID is equal to this variable. And now I will use this response to get that category from zero index. So let's try that. You can see that it is now giving me the newly created category, but it is still giving me an array. So there was an array on the zero index, so I will use zero index again to get the first element from there, from this array. Okay, now send it again. This time you can see that it is giving me the category that was created. You can also go to your database client and see that all of those categories have been created. So that's great. After that, I will create another endpoint to delete categories. For that, I will use delete method, and here I will add let category ID. By the way, I will define a parameter here that would be category ID, and we will get this parameter by using quest.params.category ID. And now we will run a query that response is equal to request.db.query, and here I will add the string that will be delete from categories where ID is equal to category ID variable, and I will add await here, and after response is received, I will send response does send to client that category is deleted, and we can test it as well. So I will just duplicate this tab, and here I will add delete method, and here I will pass the ID that I want to delete, and let's try. Hit the send button, and you can see the message that category has been deleted. Now we need to add another endpoint that will update the category. So add update. Instead of update, we will use patch method. So that will mean that we want to update the category. And this time we will be getting data payload from the request.body. And now I will write my query to update data, update categories. Set title should be equal to the request data.title, and I will add a where condition where id is equal to data.id. Okay. Now I will notify user that category is updated after it is updated. So now let us test this endpoint. For that, go back to the Postman and I will duplicate this one. And here instead of post method, we will use batch method, and in the body, I will provide the ID of the category as well. One, and here I actually let me see the list of available categories that we have. So we don't have any endpoint to get list of available categories, so I will create an endpoint first. So let me do that as well. Get categories. This will give me, we are not expecting any payload. So here I will replace this query with a simple query that will be select all from categories, and the data is available on the 0 index of response, so I will use it. And now we will test it. I will duplicate this and I will use the method get. This will give me all of the categories that are available. I want to update the category title for ID2. So in the patch, I will provide the ID2 and the title will be updated testing. Okay, hit the send button and I did not see any success message. That's mean there is an error. So let's see what is the error. It is saying that cannot read property undefined of properties of undefined reading dot title. So let's see what is wrong here. So it is saying that data was undefined here, and data is coming from the body. I misspelled the body name, body spelling. So make sure to have correct spelling body like this. Now it should work fine. This time you can see that it is saying category is updated. If you go back to this tab and see the list of categories, you will see the updated title in your categories. That's when this is also working. So now we have 4 methods: create, delete, update, and get. So far we have created endpoints only for post, but we will have many more tables over time, and our code will become more and more complex and messy. So we should have some approach to organize our code in better way to make it look good and easy to maintain. For that, we will make use of routers, and we will organize our endpoints in multiple folders and files. So for that, I will create a new folder in the source directory that will be routes, and in the routes directory I will create a new file that will be index.routes.ts, and here I will create a router. Let routes is equal to router, and make sure to import the router from Express.js, and now export this variable, and now go back to the server.ts and add app.use/API/routes, and make sure to import routes from correct file path. So the meaning of this syntax is that whenever somebody tries to access endpoints with starting with /API, it will load this router. And in this router, we will define further routes that will be routes.use. And here I will add category. And here we will add another router that will be category routes, and we will define it shortly. For that, I will create a new file that will be category or categories dot routes dot ts, and again I will create a router. Let router is equal to or maybe category routes is equal to router, and now I will export this router as well and go back here and import it from the correct file. So this router will be targeted if user tries to access this path API/category. So now go back here. Here I will define, I will actually move all of my endpoints from here in that file. So let's do that. I will collapse all of these endpoints and cut them from here and move them here. And instead of app, I will use this router everywhere. And now instead of any, I will try to use custom response. We did not export the custom response yet, so go back to the server and export it. Maybe it will still not allow us to use it, but let's try. Custom request. Yeah, it's still not allowing us, so just wait and keep it any, but make sure to import this connection from MySQL promise. And we have to import it as well from Express. Okay, now you can see all of the errors are gone. We will make it more neat and simpler. So for that, I will add category. So you can see that first of all, we don't need /API here because we already have defined it in the server.ts like this. So we don't have to repeat it anymore. So I can just get rid of this. Also, we also have /category. So we don't need any of these things. So I will remove all of these. Okay. So after that, we will make it more clean by creating another folder in the source directory that would be controllers. So all of the functions of these endpoints will be coming from a separate file from the controllers folder. So we will create a folder for categories. And here I will create a file that will be create category.controller.ts. And I will cut this function and move it here. Export create category. Export let create category controller is equal to this, and make sure to import this connection. And now we can use custom request here. I hope it will not stop me now. And make sure to import the response as well that is coming from Express like this. Okay, so you don't have to specify connection here now. And you can just directly use request.db here. Okay. So everything is great. I will remove the unused imports. Now I will import this controller here and make sure to import it from the correct file path. There is a type error, so I will just use as any to get rid of the type error because we use custom request interface. That's why it was complaining. So I just got rid of that warning by using any. Now I will remove unused imports. So I will create other controllers as well for other endpoints as well. So just copy paste it. And here I will add delete category controller. Uh, I will remove this implementation and here I will have delete category controller and we will go back the category routes. I will cut this implementation and we will replace it with the in function delete category controller as any and go to this controller and paste the implementation that we just cut. Now copy paste it again and instead of delete we will have update category controller and replace delete with update. And here I will remove all of this logic and we will replace it with the logic that we have here in the patch. Select all of the logic, cut it and replace it with update category as any. Okay. Again, go to that function, paste the logic that we just got from the category.routes, and now we will copy paste it again, and instead of update, we will have get categories dot controller, and I will rename it to get categories controller, and now I will remove this logic and we'll move the existing logic from this function and delete this function and use the in function that we just created, get categories controller as any. I will get rid of all of these empty spaces and move the logic here. Okay. Now you can see that we have 4 files, categories folder, and we have category.routes, and you can see that it is now very, very simple and clean and straightforward. This is a very scalable approach. You can very easily scale up and maintain your code and files in this approach. You can build a very large project as well based on this file structure. So that's great. After category is done, next we will work on the routes that are related to the post. So I will create another file that will be category routes and sorry, instead of categories I will have post routes, and here I will get rid of all of these and I will rename from category to post routes, and I will remove all of these for now and go back to the server.ts. Actually, that's fine. We go to the index.routes and copy paste this line, and here add slash post, here add post routes. Okay, great. Now go to the post route. Here I will define my first endpoint for post, that will be post routes dot post, and in the post method we will create a post, and for that we need another folder in the controllers that will be posts, and in the posts folder we will have a file that will be create dash category dot controller dot ts, and then I will export. Actually, let me copy paste this code in the create post controller. I will rename it from category to post, and we will update this code to make it relevant to the post. So to create a post, we need title, we need content from consumer of API, and then we need category ID, and so first of all, we will check if this category exists or not. So here I will add select all from categories where category ID or where ID is equal to category ID. Okay. Now I will check. So before doing anything else, let us console, or maybe we will just send the response dot send this response just to see what we have in this. So let me provide this new function, create post controller here, and as any. Okay. Now I will open the Postman, and here I will copy paste this URL, and I will add post API slash post, and then in the body select the raw, select JSON, and here I will provide the category ID. I will intentionally provide incorrect category ID just to see how it reacts. So I can see that it gave me an array and a nested array, and in that array there is another array and another array in the second position. So our actual data is inside the first index of that array. So let's go back here, and I will check let category is equal to, I will check. So actually I will check here if response is available, and if response dot not dot, if the length of array on the zero index is greater than less than 1, and that's mean this category does not exist. So I will return response dot send, this category does not exist. Okay, so now let's try it. Hit the send button, and you can see it is throwing me an error that this category does not exist. If I try to add a correct category, it will give me the data that we were returning. So now as we are sure at this line that category exists already, so I will use this information and we will insert a new post. So let's do that. I will create a query, insert into post, and here I will provide the field name that will be title, content, category ID, and then I will provide the list of values. Make sure the order is same as the order of the field name, so otherwise you will end up having wrong values in the field. So make sure we will have title in the first position, and as title is a string, so make sure to surround it with the wrap it with the single quote because you are adding a string. And here I want to add a content. For that, copy paste content, and here I want to add the category as category ID is an integer, so you don't have to provide wrap it in the single quote, so just add a category ID. Great. Now you will execute this query for that, and that response is equal to request.db.query, and here I will pass this query that I just created and use a wait here. And as this variable already exists, so I will rename it to new post response. Okay. Now, after that, I will send a response to client that post has been created successfully. Okay. As we are not using this variable, so I will just get rid of it. Now, if I hit the send button, it should create the post, but before that, I need to provide the title. Title is equal to new post, and content will be the content. Now let's try, hit the send button, and I got an error. So let's see what mistake we made. Insert into post, and I think it is post with S. So let's try it. Okay, now it is created. You can see the successful message. After that, we will implement the get method to get a list of all posts. So I will copy paste this file and here add get posts dot controller, and I will rename it from create post to get posts controller, and I will remove all of that. Instead of that, I will create let response is equal to request.bb.query, and here I will add select all from posts, and then I will send request.send response dot, actually not request, we need to use response dot send, then I will use response variable, and we know that uh, our actual data is on the 0 index of the response, so I will use that and make sure that update here. Okay, great. Now let's try it. I will duplicate this tab and change from post to get and see. Actually, I did not register this controller yet. So go back to the post routes and copy paste this line, paste this, and instead of get a post, I will replace it with the get method and import it like this. All right. After that, if you hit this, then we should see the list of all of the posts that are created so far. You can see we have title, content, and the category. Okay, now we will create another controller for the post that will be update post. So I will duplicate the create post controller and rename it to update post controller, and rename the function from create to update post. And here, instead of insert, I will use update post set title is equal to single quote, and here I will add title, and then we will update content is equal to, make sure to add single quotes like this, content, and then we want to update the category ID if it was changed, and this. And after that is done, we also have to add a where condition, because if you don't add a where condition, it will update all of the posts to these values that we are setting. So we have to bind it to only one post. So here I will have to provide the ID should be equal to post ID, just ID. Okay, I will receive this ID from the body. Let ID is equal to request.body.id. All right. Now you can send a response to client that the post has been updated successfully. Okay. Now I will register this endpoint in my post routes. So duplicate this line and use patch method, because we normally use patch method to update something. So that is a convention that we should use post patch. And now update post controller and import it from the correct path. Now I will test this endpoint. So I will duplicate this tab. Instead of post, I will use the patch method here, and in the body this time I will have to provide the correct ID. So ID will be equal to, let me see the available post IDs. There is only one post, that is one, and with the ID 1, so I will use the ID 1 here, and here I will update the title with updated post, updated content, and let's see, I will hit the send button, and it is telling me that post has been updated. So I will double check by getting the post again. We can see that the content, all of the data is updated. Now I also want to try if category is updated or not. So I will use another category. I will use category ID 4 this time instead of 2. And let's see if that works as well. Now I will reload it again, and it should tell me the category is 4. That's mean it is updated successfully. There is one improvement that I want to make. The improvement is that if user don't want to update content, they just want to update the title, we should give them ability to skip the content part and let them update. So, but right now with our current code, there is an issue. If user tries to update in this way, as you can see, content is missing in this payload, in this body. So in our update file, you can see we are still trying to get content. And if content was not provided, then it will receive undefined here in this variable. And then we will save undefined in the content field. That may break your query, or that may cause uh, unwanted behavior or unwanted data. So let's try to test it. Let's see what happens exactly when you send data without content. When you try to update, it is still updated the data, but this time if you get the list of posts, you will see that, and it has corrupted our content. It has replaced our content with undefined, but I never wanted to change or touch my content of this post, but it has updated that. So to avoid that, right now in our current approach, we are making all of the fields compulsory to update, but we have to make these things optional. So let's see what we can do. So I will generate, so you can see that this is comma spirited values, field and values pairs. We can generate these comma separated strings with the help of array. Okay, I will create an array. Let SQL update array. You can set any name here. For now, I'm using this name quickly. So you can say SQL fields to update. That is better. Okay. Here I will check that if title is provided, then we will push into this array with this string. And similarly, I will check for other field as well. If content is provided, I will just copy paste this. Three times. So here we will check content. If content is provided, then update content. Otherwise, don't push it in this array. And if category ID is provided, then create this string and push it in the array. Now you can just remove all of these key value pairs from here and use this array here, and use join function that is available in every array, and join every string with the comma. And that you know that when you use join on an array, it generates it combines all of the elements of your array into one single string. So this will give me one single plain string, and I will concatenate it here. Okay, so now I will expand this if condition, and here I will check something. So if category was provided, then I will check if that category exists or not. I will not check this category if category is not provided from the body. So now category was provided from the request.body. That means somebody wants to update category. So we will include it in the array. Also, we'll check if the category ID is correct. And then before running the query, maybe user will not provide any of these fields in the body. Then that's when we cannot update anything because user did not specify any field in the request. For example, here user may just send ID, but user will not provide any other field to update. Then it should not update anything. Actually, if you let this query run, this will break your query because there will be nothing in this variable. It will be an empty string. So your final query will become update post set space where ID is this. That is incorrect query. So we have to save it from running this query in that situation. So we will check if SQL fields to update dot length is less than 1, then I will return response dot send nothing was provided to update. Okay, in this way any code below this line will not work because we are returning and also we are sending some response to the client. All right, now let us test this. I did not include anything here, so if I hit send button, then you will see that nothing was provided to update. Also, I also should have checked that ID is correct. So on the top, I will use another query. So for example, check if ID is correct. Response select all from post where ID is equal to ID. And here I will check if response 0 dot length is less than 1, that means this post was not found. Then I will return response dot send that post invalid post ID. So you cannot pass any invalid post ID in the endpoint payload. So for example, right now I'm passing ID 1, but now I will pass invalid post ID. Let's see if it throws that error. You can see it is throwing me that invalid post ID. I will revert it back. Now I will update the content. So I will add content is equal to new content and hit the send button. You can see it is saying the post has been updated. I will double check by running it. You can see that title is still same, category is still same because we did not update these fields. It just updated content field. Now I want to update title field as well. So add title, and here I will add 1 and reload it. You can see that title is updated, but content is still same. And we can remove the content as well and something else in the title. And see, content will not be changed, but title will be changed. Now I will update the category as well. and I will use category ID 2 this time instead of 4. Category ID 4. Now let's 2. Let's try it. And now if you check, you can see that category ID is updated. But if you provide invalid category ID, it should throw the error that category does not exist. So that's great. Our validation is also working. Now at the end, we will implement the delete method for the post. So let's do that. Delete post.controller.ts. And now I will rename the function delete post controller, and I will get rid of all of this logic. And then I will register this controller in the post.routes file, copy paste this line and use the delete method here. And here we need to expect a new parameter from the URL that would be ID of the post, and here instead of that I will use delete post controller. And now we will go to this function and we will write our logic and let response is equal to request dot db dot query, and we will use the delete query, delete from posts where id is equal to request.id, request.body.id. Here I will send this as a response, response.send post has been deleted successfully. Okay, now let us try. I will duplicate this tab, and instead of patch I will use delete method, and here I will add the ID of the post that I want to delete, and now hit the send button, and it is throwing me error that cannot delete because we have 404 error. That means that this endpoint was not found. So let's see what mistake we did. So in the post.routes we have delete method, we have, so I think this is incorrect path. Actually we should use this path, column ID. Okay, now let's try it again, and if you hit the send button again I am getting 404. I think you should add slash here as well. Now let's try it again. This time it worked, and now if you try to get a list of posts, you send it, you will get empty array. Now I will create a post again for me. Post has been created. If you hit the endpoint again, you will get the new post. Now I will try to give it incorrect post ID. Let's see what happens. I hit the send button. It is still saying that post has been deleted, but there was no post with that ID. We know that because in this list there is no post with that ID. So now I will actually, before that I will just skip the post ID. Actually you will never be able to skip the post ID, because if you don't specify the post ID, it will say that endpoint is not found because it will not match this route, because to match this route there has to be slash something after that slash something. Okay, so whenever this function is called, we are dead sure that this ID was provided and is available. Actually another thing is that yeah, actually this should not work. Actually it worked because I forgot to remove this payload. So now even if you provide correct ID, one second, so hit the send button, ID is 2. Even if you provide correct ID here, it will still not work. Let me show you how. you can see that it is deleted, but it is not deleted. If you hit it, you will see that there is actually an error, and error was occurred when you try to delete something. I will save it again to restart the server, and I will show you. Right now in the get method, you can see the post is still there, and if you right now there is no error, you can clear the console, and if you hit the send button to delete, you will see that immediately application was crashed, and it is saying that unknown column undefined in the where clause. The reason is that id is not available in the body. So if you try to access something that is not available from an object, it will give you undefined, and you cannot put undefined in the place of id, and we have undefined because in the body we did not specify any object. Okay, so the question is that how to get this ID? When you try to access ID from the parameter, then you have to use another property, that is params. This way you will be able to access this ID. Now let's try it, and this time it will not crash the server, and it will actually just delete it, and you can check that post has been deleted. I will create this post once again, and if you check, that post has been created. Now I will try to give it invalid post ID. We should add a validation so that it could check if this post exists or not. So for that, I will check let post response is equal to request.db.query, and here I will add select all from posts where id is equal to request.params.id. So if post response on zero index, if actually I also have to use a wait here because it is giving me a promise. So I'm checking if length is less than 1, that's mean we need to stop it from here, return return response dot send. Here I will send the error message. You can add a status as well, 501 or something like that, dot send given post id does not exist. Okay, and there is an error. I can use any here, that will solve the problem. All right, now let me test it. If you hit it this time, you will see the 501 error. We can see other possible status as well from internet. Let's see status code for server error. You can see all of the status code that you want to on any website. So these are the status codes available here. You can read, but I want to use server error, internal server error. So you can use 500. So you can use any status if you want. It's up to you. Okay. Now go back to the postman. If you hit it again, you will see the 500 status, and you will see the error message that given post ID does not exist. Now if you provide a correct ID, that is 3, this time it will work because of our validation. You can see this time it is saying that post has been deleted again, and you can check. Okay, great. After that, I want to make an improvement in our architecture or in our file structure in our project. That is, we want to be able to reuse these queries because I know that we will run into a situation where we will need to rewrite these queries. We don't want to rewrite these queries. We should be able to reuse these queries. For that, we will use a concept services. This is nothing rocket science. These are just we will just create classes, and we will give them name of services. and we will use them. We will move all of our logic there. Okay. So in the source directory, I will create a folder services, and in the services, I will create a file that will be name of the entities. So first I will have a service for the post.service.ts, and here I will export this service, export class post service, and here I will add a static method that will be get post by id, and here I will provide the id, and here the type of id will be number, and let's try to use this function. So this is the query that we are using to get post by ID. I will move this query there. So cut this code from here, and here I will use that service post service dot get post by ID. Here I will give it the ID. So request dot params dot ID. Now I will use await here and go back to this function, and here I will paste this, and I will return this query, and I have to provide it the database. Actually, we can get rid of that dependency. We will get our database instance by ourselves. So here I will add a sync, and I will use db from here. Let db is equal to db connection use await here. Okay. Now I will use this one ID and delete this. Okay. Now this function is completely reusable, that we can reuse here. And here, let's see what is the error. It is saying that it is not. So you can, so actually in the parameter, you will get a string. We need to typecast it to as number so that we could make it silent. Let me see why it is still showing error. Okay. So to convert a string into a number, you can use a number constructor, that is this, but I would say that it is, don't make it too much complex. Just go there and type any here. Okay, that's it. Now we are trying to delete post, so I will move this code as well in my service. So go back to the service and create a new function, static async delete post by ID, and here I will paste this, and I will use this. Okay, and we will receive the ID from the parameter and use that ID. And now I will use this function here. Wait post service dot this, and here I will pass request dot params dot ID. And also we will improve this function to move this logic inside of it. So here I will check. I will first save the response. Let response is equal to this. I will check if response. So by default, I will send an empty array. Okay, and I will actually not array. By default I will send undefined. Actually, I don't have to return anything. If you don't return anything, it will automatically be undefined would automatically be returned. So I will say that if response is defined and if the length of response, actually I should have used await here as well. is greater than 0, and then I will also I will check if response if the length of the element on the 0 index has length greater than 0. And so you know that our actual data array is coming on the 0 index of the response, so that's why I am checking the length of that data. If it is available, then I will return response 0. I will return the first element of that array. Obviously there would be only one element in that position. So now I can simply use it here, and I don't have to check this kind of thing. I will just check that post. So I know that I'm getting the post in it. I will check if post is not found, then I will say that given post ID does not exist. Okay. And we are not using this response, so I will just get rid of this. We can test it if it is working. So let us double check. I will check. I don't have any post yet, so I will create a post. Post ID is, I guess, 4, and we will now delete that post by providing the post ID. Everything is fine, so that means the post has been deleted. You can see I will, okay. Now I will so here we are trying to insert the post, so I will cut this and I will move this part in the post service. So I will cut this from here, and here I will create a new function, static async create post, and use this, and I will copy paste here as well, and then I will use this connection instead, and we will expect an object in the parameter, and with that object will have title string, actually title, content, category, ID, and I will define the type for these values. Title string, content would be string, and category ID would be any. Okay. Now I will return this response, and let us use it here. Post service dot create post, and obviously we will have to pass title, content, and category ID. Okay. Now I will use await here. After that, I have to create a service to move this query in the categories service. So let's create that. Categories.service.ts, and I will rename it to categories. Okay, now I will remove all of these, and here I will rename it to get category by ID. Okay. Now I will go back to other file, and I will cut this query and move it in the category service. Here we need to receive category ID. Okay. Other code would stay same. We don't have to change it at all because the structure of the response of the query would stay same for all of the tables. And here I will create a variable category, and here I will use category service dot get category by ID. Here I will pass the category ID. And now I can simply check this variable that if category is not found, then throw this error. Okay. Now you can see that it is more readable, more developer friendly, and more easy to maintain and more reusable. So that is better than before. Now, if you go to the delete, we already have it. And if we go to the get post, we still have this query. We have to move it in the post service. So we'll go there and I will replace this. I will copy paste this and I will use the function name get posts. And we don't have to pass anything yet here in this parameter, and select all from posts, and we know that every time we will get a response on zero index, so we will simply send that response, and that response on zero index would be an array. That is what we are looking for, so just use it. I will use let post is equal to post service dot get posts, and I have to use a wait here and pass this to the send function. That's it. All right. Now in the update function, you can see that we have this query where we are getting a post. We already have a function in post service that gives us a post by ID. So I will just get rid of that. I will create let post is equal to post service dot get post by ID. Here I will pass the ID. Then I will just check if post is not found, then send this response to client. Now here we are trying to get a single category by this ID. So I will replace this with category, and here I will use a wait category service dot get category by ID. Here I will pass the category ID, and similarly I should use a wait here as well. And now I can simply check this category. If category is not found, then run this block of code, and you can move it in a single line if condition. Okay. Now this is the query that we are using to update the post. So let's see. We can use all of this logic in that function that we are going to create in the post service. So create a new function post service, and I will copy paste this function, and instead of create I will have update post, and here I will have category ID of the post, and here I will have the ID in the type as well. This type would be any. And now let's see what else we can do. Okay, so I will cut all of this these lines of code from here, and I will call await post service dot update post, and we have to pass all of the data, title, content, category ID, and ID. Okay. Now I will go to this function. We will paste the implementation that we just copied. Now I will import this service, category service here, and all right. Here, instead of sending something from here, let me see what I can do here. I will throw an error from here. So I will say that so new error, and here I will say that category not found. Okay. And I will go back to the update post, and I will wrap this function in the try catch block. wrap everything in the try catch. So we are moving everything in the try catch. The reason is that if you are using await, any error that is being thrown inside the functions of await, like in the update post, you cannot track that, you cannot capture them until you use try catch. If you don't handle it, then it will crash your server. So I want to gently handle those errors. So I will use response.send in the cache block, and I will pass e, and I will also use the status 500.send. Okay. So now, by the way, you can throw error from here as well. So instead of doing that, I will cut this code, and here I can say that throw new error, and I will throw this error. So this error will be handled here automatically, and I will move this code here. So once everything is done correctly without any error, it will show this message to the consumer or to the client of the endpoint. All right, now go back to the post service. Here again, I will send this response, this error. So I will say that throw new error, paste this. And when you throw any error, it will not run any of the lines after this line of code. After that, I will use connection dot query, and then we will return it. All right, that's it. So you can see that we have moved a lot of huge block of code in this function to make it reusable. It will be very helpful for us in the future. So now we will test it by using the postman to see if it is still working. So right now there is no post. I will first create a post, and the post ID is 5. So I will update this post. And this time you can see that it is updated. That's mean everything is still working correctly. All right. So we have moved all of the functions into their relevant services in the post folder. Now do the same for the categories folder as well. So we know that we already have a function to get a single category by a category ID. So let's do that. I will delete this way and use await categories service dot get category by ID and pass the category ID as the parameter. And now this is the category we know, and we can just send this category as it is. Okay, and similarly we have to move this logic in our category service. Here I will status async create category and receive the ID of category. Sorry, we have to receive the title of the category that we want to create. Now I will copy paste this connection line, and we will use it instead and return this response. All right. By the way, we will actually, let me first replace it, then I will tell what I'm talking about. Await category service dot create category and pass the title, and I will already return the element from the zero index. So here I will save the response, that response is equal to this, and then I will send return response from zero index. Okay, now we know that we have the correct response from the zero index already. We will get the insert ID and then so on. Now in the delete category, we will move this code as well in the category service. I will create a new function, paste this and delete category. And here I will replace it with this logic and replace this with the connection we have above. And we will receive the category ID. Type would be any. Return the response. That's it. Now go back here and use the delete category and pass the category ID. That's it. Now go to the get categories and we have to move this logic in the category service and go to the category and replace, copy paste this, and rename the function to get categories. And now we don't need any parameter yet, so I will get rid of that and replace it with this and use the connection instead. And now let response, and here I will just return the data from the zero index of response, because we know that data is available on the zero index of the response. Okay, now call this function here, and we know that we already getting data from zero index, so I will not use zero. We know that now we can set the name of the variable as categories. That is more meaningful. All right, great. Now go to the update. We have to move this function as well to the category service. Open the category service, copy paste the create category function, rename it to update category, and here I will replace this and use the connection instead. And then I will receive title and ID to update it. Okay, great. I will return the response, and now go back here and call this function, and here I have to pass data.title and data.id. Okay, that's it. It should just work fine. So this is the approach that we are going to follow further in other endpoints as well. So we will have services for every kind of entity. After we have controllers for categories and post, next thing is to work on the other tables, which are tags and post tags. Okay, so let us create a new route entry in the index.routes for the tag, and here I will add tag routes, and here I will copy paste category, and here I will add tag.routes and rename from category to tag routes. This, so we will create tag, we will have create tag controller, we will have delete tag controller, we will have update tag controller, we will have get tags controller. Okay, let's create these missing controllers here. I will create a folder here that will be tags. In that folder, I will create a new file. Let me copy paste this file in here. Sorry, I'll paste it somewhere. So open the tags folder and paste it there, and I will rename from create category to create tag, and we will rename this function as well, create tag. And to create tag, we need a title. Now we will need another service. So let us create a service for tag. I will copy paste tag service, that category service, and rename it to tag service, and rename the class to tag service. Actually, I will rename all of the words that have category in it. So that's category tag, replace all categories with single C, with category with small c, replace it with the tags, and after that I will search for category. There is no category. Okay, that's fine now. Now, all right. So after that, I will just double check if everything is still fine. I think everything will stay same because we have replaced the table name. Other than that, everything will look like, because this tag table looks very similar to the category table. So I think this will just work fine. So now go to the create tag here. I will replace it with the tag service and use create tag. So I will put it here. I will use get tag by ID, and instead of category ID, I will use tag ID and paste it here as well. And this will give me a category. This will give me a tag. So some does that tag back. Now I will copy paste this file, and here I will have update tag controller, and rename this update tag controller, and we will receive title and ID of the tag. And now I will use update tag function in the tag service. We will have to ID as pass. We will have to pass the ID as well. Okay, and this time it will just give me a response. I will just let user know that tag has been updated. Okay, we are not using this response, so I will just get rid of that. Now I will create another controller that would be the lead tag controller, and here I will just receive the ID from parameters, and tag ID, and we will use delete tag function from tag service, and here I will pass the ID, and I can say that tag has been deleted. All right, now I will create another function controller that will be we have delete, create, update, get tags controller. Let's rename the function get tags controller. We don't need any parameter. Get tags. We don't need to pass any parameter, and it will give me tags. Now I will pass on those tags to response. Get tags. Okay, that's it. Now I will register these controllers in the tag routes. So import all of the missing imports. Delete. Actually, I did not rename this one. I guess this should be delete tag controller. So now we should be able to import it because the correct name is available. Okay. Now in the index.routes, I will import the tag route. Import it. Very nice. Now we have registered the tag routes and the tag router. So it's time to test these endpoints. I will duplicate this. And here I will use post method, and here I will add slash tag, and in the body I will use title testing tag and hit the send button. I got an error, so let's see what's wrong here. I did not save this. I think that's why there was an error. Now if you hit this button again, I am again getting an error. It is saying that blog.tags does not exist in table. So it is true that we don't have tags table yet. So let us create a table that will be tags. So I'm going to close these two tabs because we cannot open more than two tabs at a time in Table Plus if you are using free version. So here I will give it a name that will be tags, and here I will have the title field, and then I will have data type voucher, and then I will have is nullable to no. It should not be nullable, and after that I can just save it, and I will create another table that will be. So let me close this. Okay, next table is post tag. So let us give it a name, post underscore tags, and then we will have post ID, and then the type would be integer, and it is not nullable, and then we will have category ID, and then its type is also integer, and it is also not nullable. Now save it. After saving it, I will try to add foreign key. So we need to add two foreign keys on the post ID. I will link it with the posts table, and I will link it with the ID field. Okay. Now here I will add foreign key to the category table. One second. I will show it again. So the reference table would be the categories. So you may also use an SQL query to create foreign keys, but I have this facility in Table Plus. I can just simply use it. So select ID, press OK, and I will save it. Okay, the foreign keys has been generated, and 1 second. Okay, we have post table, we have post tag table, both are ready to be used. We have tags and post tags tables. Okay, let me close the post tag. All right. Now I will try to create a tag. So first of all, let's see, the server is crashed at this time. Save it so that it could start the server again. Now I will go to the postman, send it. This time I can see the new tag that is just created. Now I will duplicate this tab, and this time I will replace the method with the get method. It will give me the list of all of the tags that are available. Now I want to update this tag. I will duplicate it and use post method here. Actually, instead of post, I will use patch method to update it. Go to the body, and here I must have to provide the ID as well. I will make changes in the title, updated tag, and here I will add the ID, and the ID is obviously 1. So click the send button, and you can see the sync tag is updated. So you can double check by getting the tags again. You can see that the title has been updated. Now we will try to delete this tag and see if that works. So use the delete method here and hit the send button, but before that you have to pass the tag ID here, that is 1. Hit the delete button and you can see the success message, and if you fetch the tags you will see the empty array. That's mean it has been deleted. I will create it again. So new tag has been created and it is available again with the ID 2. That's great. Now I will try to add few tags to one of our posts. So for that I will add few more tags. So testing tag, tag 2, tag 3. Okay. Now if you check this, we have 2, 3, 4 IDs in the tags that we can use to insert in the tag post table, or post tags table. But before that we have to prepare endpoints for that. So I will open the index routes, and here I will copy paste this line. Here I will use post underscore or dash tag, post tag, and post tag routes. So I will create this one now. For that we will copy paste the tag routes file and replace it with post tags, post dash tags dot routes. Now here I will rename it with the post tag routes and do the double view. And now I will go back to the index route to import this missing file. Routes. Okay. Now we have to use correct controllers here. I will use create post tag controller, and similarly I will receive the ID, delete post tag controller, and then we will have update post tag controller. Then we will have get post tags controller. Okay. Now I will define these controllers here. I will create a new folder here that will be post tags, and in this folder I will create a new file that will be create post tag.controller.ts. And now I will copy paste one of the files from here so that we could extend that code. Oh. Okay. Now here instead of create tag we will rename it to create post tag controller, and this time we will receive tag ID from body and the post ID. Okay. Now I will need to create a service for the post tags service. So go to the services folder and create, or maybe I will copy paste this file and I will rename it to post tags dot service and rename it post tags service. And here I will say get post tags by ID. And here I will use the table post tags, and then I will rename it to the post tags. Select all from post tags. That's right. Next we will have again post tags table name, and the function name should be create post tag. And instead of title, we want to insert the post ID and tag ID. And here I will add post ID and tag ID. Okay. Now here I will have update post tag, and we need to receive. Actually, we will never need to update a post tag. We will always delete, but we will never update this entry. So I will rename it to a delete post tag. I will get the ID delete from post tags. That's right. Now there is something that is being repeated. We have to fix that. We can see that the table name is being repeated. We can reuse it by creating a static property here. Static table name is equal to post underscore tags. So I can use this table name from that property by using this post tags service dot table name. Okay, in this way you can reuse the table name. So in future, if you want to change the table name, you will just change it here. It will be changed everywhere where you are using it. So add it here, and add it here. That's it. Now go to the create post service. Here I will use the post tag service dot create post tag, and here we have to pass the tag ID, and we have to pass the first position is for the post ID, and second position is defined for the tag ID. So after that we will get post tag ID in the insert ID. So I will pass this in the get post service get post tag by ID. Okay, now this is post tag. I will send it back in the response of the consumer, and after that I will copy paste this. I will implement the update post tag controller, and this time, by the way, we will never implement use the update endpoint, so I will not create this. I will use the delete post tag controller, and this time we will be expecting the ID from the request.params.id, and I will delete post tag, and I will pass the ID, and then we will simply send the response to the consumer that it has been deleted. Okay, now I don't need this response, so I will just get rid of that. Now I will create another endpoint that will be create delete. So create delete update. What else is left? Yeah, it is get post tags controller. Now I will rename it as well. Get post tags controller, and we don't need any parameter this time. I will get all of the post tags, and we don't need to pass anything. I will save it in the post tags variable, and we will send it back to the consumer. And once that is done, we will go back to the post tags route, and we will import all of the missing imports. Controller, tag controller, delete post tag. I did not rename it, I guess. Delete post tag controller. Okay. Tag controller. And now I will move this one and to import this file as well. Save it. Okay, that's it. Now it's time to test all of these endpoints. Go back to your Postman, and we know these are our tag 234, and we will check these are all of our posts that we have. So I want to add tags 234 in the post ID 5. So let's try to do that. I will duplicate this. Here I will add post dash tag. I will use the post method to create or insert it. In the body, I will specify the IDs that I want to add, post ID. And here I will add the post ID, then I will have the tag ID. So let me copy paste. So the post ID is 5. So I will use the 5 here. And in the tags, the tag ID is 234. So I will start from 2. Hit the send button. I think there is an error. So let's see why is that. Slash post dash tag, that was correct. But it is saying that unknown column tag ID in the field list. Okay, let's see what's wrong there. Here we are using create post tag, and in the table name we have post tags. That was correct. So let's see what's wrong here. Post tags. In the post tags table we have the field, post ID and category ID. So this was incorrect. Instead of category ID we should have added tag ID. So sorry about that, and save it. I will also delete the foreign key and add a new one. I will link it with the tags table and save it. Now we will try it again. Save it to restart the server, and now I will open the Postman, hit the send button. This time I can see the new entry that has been created. If you duplicate this, we can see the list of available post tags by using the get method. Hit the send button and you can see the array of the tags on this post. The post ID is 5 and tag ID is 2. Now I will insert the other 2 tags as well. For that, I will change the tag ID from 2 to 3. Hit the send button. And now I will change it to 4. Hit the send button. 3, I guess. Let me see what is the other tag. 2, 3. Last ID is 4. So let me try to insert the ID 4 now. And hit the send button. Now, if you hit this endpoint again, you will see there are 3 elements inserted already in this. Now I will try to delete one of these with the ID 2. So I will duplicate this and select the delete method and 2 here and hit the send button. Before that, I will remove the body and now hit the send button. You can see this in deleted successfully. To double check, I will send it again and it will give me 2 elements instead of 3 in the response. That's great. That means everything is working perfectly fine. Even in the database, if you see the data is there as well that you just have created. And if you go to the post table, you will see all of the tags also there that you have created so far. So I think that's all that what I wanted to show you in this video. In the next video, we will go one step further. We will start working on the Angular project where we will start to consume all of these endpoints and we will implement the UI based on these endpoints. So I hope that you like this video so far, and if this video was useful, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon. And also please like and share this video Stay tuned and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.